You're listening to The Manning Report with your host, James David Manning. The news behind the headlines.
I'm for impeachment. Let me tell you why. You need to understand, and Nancy Pelosi is trying to preserve, the Congress and the 40 seats that were won in Trump territory, that somehow or another those seats could be overturned if an impeachment process started, and it failed. Moreover, or even if it was successful, and impeached Trump, it would be detrimental to the Republican Party in her position as Speaker. Moreover, Nancy Pelosi is looking in the rearview mirror of what happened to Bob Livingston and Newt Gingrich and the Republican crowd who impeached Bill Clinton, but the Senate did not acquiesce, and so therefore he was able to serve out the rest of his term. But it devastated the Republican Party, and she's looking at that as potentially what could happen to the Democrats right now who now control the House. And I understand that, but that's political. That's not legal. That is a political mandate. It is clear, and Nancy Pelosi is clear, and Gerald Nadler and others, and Elijah Cummings and Adam Schiff and others, that Tribulation Trump is a lawbreaker and he should be held to the very statutes of the law. He's not above the law. And so whether it will cost you the House or not, you ought to vote him out. You ought to vote for impeachment, and you ought to impeach him. And whether the Senate says yes or no, you should not be concerned about that. You don't run the Senate. You run the House. And the House can get him out, or they can impeach him. He may not be impeached, or the Senate may not vote to put him out. But it needs to be clear about what you can be clear about. Right now, the white man that I've talked about over the last 45 to 50 minutes, who has lost his power, lost his dominance, lost his character, don't give a damn anymore, you're not going to win him over. He is who he is. The Constitution is against him. You're not going to win him over. Moreover, you're not going to lose anybody. People who realize that Trump is lawless, that he's a gangster, that he's running a lawless White House, that he's got that little twit Jared Kushner running around as a so-called Secretary of State and also Secretary of Defense and every other, and actually cabinet members are tabled, actual duly authorized congressional appointed congresspersons are tabled, and Jared Kushner is now running the show, and that Trump is greatly bankrolling from his illegal. He doesn't give a damn about anybody, about himself. You cannot let this continue. If at the same time you get a bloody nose, you need to make sure that you don't let Trump continue to walk around. Impeach him. Impeach him. And I think Talila Rashid said it best on her night of victory there in Minnesota. She said, impeach. We're going to impeach the MF.
We're going to go in there. We're going to impeach the mother.
And that's exactly what should be done. Come rain or come shine. Nobody's going to move. No needle is going to move. And even if Robert Mueller had been Marlon Brando on yesterday, or some other acclaimed actor, it still would not have moved the needle. These white folk, they ain't leaving Trump. There ain't nowhere for them to go except to hell. And they're not leaving. And the people that are against Trump, the never-Trumpers, they're not going to leave you, Nancy Pelosi. So it is my statement to you, impeach the MF and do it now. Make every member of Congress raise their hand, yes or no. Don't wait for a majority to come to you and say it's time to impeach him. Impeach him. And that's what I believe. Here's what I absolutely know, not believe. Nancy, let me tell you something. If you cannot succeed at impeaching Trump at this statement, at this juncture, with all of the vile things that he has done, you can't win the 2020 election. You need to understand something. You're hoping that you can win the 2020 election and get him out that way. But you need to understand, if the powers that be are so strong that you would fail at impeaching him, or that you're afraid to impeach him, those same powers will put him back in office. You need to go before the Lord, call your Congress together, and then vote to impeach and let the chips fall where they may. But at the very least, the Constitution and the rule of law will be on your side. So I say impeach the MF. I will not give the graphic terms of those words, but I think it's time for an impeachment, and it needs to get started with an impeachment inquiry. And with an impeachment inquiry, you can get those tax terms, those tax forms just like that. With an impeachment inquiry, you can get everything you need to move that boy. I say impeach. This is a bit of a news blog we do, looking at spiritual wickedness in high places for the most part, making some observations about it and giving people a biblical foundation to the way of interpreting, rather than have Sean Hannity or Laura Ingraham or Janine Pirro or Anderson Cooper or Rachel Maddow or Don Lemon, Rush Limbaugh interpret what's going on in the world. You come to me and I'll tell you based on what the Word of God says. They'll just give you their worldly, sinful view. But the Manning Report will tell you what God has said, whether to say yea or nay, whether to go or to stay. You'll be led by the word of Almighty God. Come to the Manning Report on a daily basis to interpret the spiritual wickedness in high places, because there's plenty of it that's going on. And so I'm the Lord's servant, James David Righteous Rebel Manning, and I'm here to serve you with news and information.